Welcome everyone to the Todd and Erin Daily Stream, and thank you for your patience today. You're gonna need it.
We're going camping.
You're not excited about this at all, are you, honey?
This is actually called, I got this for Zoe because she was a little afraid of the dark, and it's called Defiant Against the Dark LED. Oh yeah. Packing for camping is as much fun as going. I have to say, almost. Except for the food.
Because you get to bring all your stuff out again and you get to play with all of it.
It's like, oh my gosh, I forgot I did that in the sleeping bag. And then, oh, we have to wash it. And the kids and the lumps and everybody sleeping in weird positions. And you forget that you're up till 2 o'clock in the morning because your little one can't sleep. And you forget the fact that someone climbs over you to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night.
And you've been sleeping on a pine cone and you were too tired to move and make it go away from the small of your bag.
And then we're in a small old vintage trailer. And so you forget that people don't want to sleep there. Kids.
Vintage is another word for I found it abandoned in the middle of a field.
I fell through the floor. That's the other thing. And you forget that. And you forget it's sitting around the campfire at 5 o'clock in the morning with your son who can't sleep when he's someplace different. And then there's no romance. And then you forget about all of those things and you go, camping.
That is awesome. We should do some more of that.
Let's go.
And so you do.
Oh, and so what I've done...
Yeah, explain the cooler.
Well, we did some stuff last year, and we did a desert trip to Burning Man. And so I said, you know what? My coolers are good, but they're not good enough. So this is what I did.
Welcome to another edition of Hey, Don't Kill Yourself When You're Going Camping. So our friends just came over. We're going on a camping trip, and some of it's going to be in the desert. And they're kind of new at this. And so I kind of showed them some tricks that I use because I had some very bad experiences doing this. Now, this is based on the fact that if you have one cooler and you're going to be using the ice for drinks and things, and your food's going to be in there too. And to give you an idea what I used to do, I used to take the Ziploc bags and put my food in here. Now, some of the food I cook because I'm lazy. No, it's because I don't want to attract bears, but I don't want to do dishes. It's actually because I don't want to do dishes. And I'll put them in the Ziploc bags and then stack them up in the ice. And the problem is, if there's extra air in here and there's pressure on it, you're going to lose pressure, which means you'll lose the seal. If you lose the seal, all that chicken, whether it's cooked or raw. Have you ever had a Mai Tai, an icy Mai Tai with raw chicken juice in it? There's nothing better. But this is the way that I do it now, and I'm going to show you. All right, so let's go. All right, so this is a vacuum sealer, very dirty one because we've been using it all afternoon, but you kind of know how these work. They open up, the bags come out, you cut them off, and you basically make a bag out of this. So you have your bag, and you seal it at one end, and obviously you put the other stuff in. Then you seal it at this end, and it takes all the air out. And you can do tons of different stuff. Here's a couple steaks that are stacked in here, and you can notice how thin they are. That way you can stack them, and I put them underneath dry ice, and so they'll stay frozen the whole time until you thaw them. You can do, this is bow tie pasta, and it's got spicy Italian sausage in there and some sauce. And on this, these are already cooked. The steaks aren't. You can put hamburgers in there uncooked, but you can season them. Foil dinners are really popular, but they're going to leak. And if they leak out of a Ziploc bag, they go into your ice and you're dead, basically. So do that too. You don't have to suck it down so hard that it crushes them. You can vary that with most of the different vacuum seal things. If you don't have one, like I said, one of your friends does, and they can show you how to use it. All right, let's say that you weren't that hungry and you didn't finish all your pasta and you didn't finish your spicy Italian sausage. What's wrong with you? What do you do with the leftovers? No, it's the same problem. It will leak. It will go into your ice and you will die. Or, your margaritas will taste horrible. So, once again, I'll go to a container. I'll put the extras in that, and once that is sealed, see, this will keep things from crushing it. which causes it to burp and causes it to open the seal, and I'll actually put it inside one of these. So if you're going camping with one cooler, you've got ice you're going to use, you have food over here, you're going to have dry ice over the frozen food to make it last longer. I just find that this is the best way. And no matter what you're taking, whether it's cooked fajita mix or whatever, this is, I think, one of the best ways to do it. So good luck, and go out there and don't die.
Not such a bad idea, was it? But
How did it hold up under the blistering sun and scorching sands of Burning Man?
let's go.
I am so excited to let you know how everything went. Okay, so this is my official review of turning your cheaper cooler into something a lot better. Now, as you saw in the video, this is what I took. Don't worry, just the wheels. This is what I took to the desert. We made the liner. I took it and I took it to the desert. This is what we're up against. We're up, wasn't that hot. It was only like, I don't know, like 95 degrees, 90, 95 degrees, but at night it dropped to about 60. That cooler, like I said, had dry ice in the bottom, and it was just going to be used for drinks, just ice, no food in it whatsoever. And I threw in a couple of frozen water bottles as well. How did it work? Awesomely. It worked awesomely. It was the most amazing thing. 3 days in, I still had the cube ice was still dry. So it wasn't all shiny and slippery. It was dry, like it comes out of your freezer. In 3 days, I was so impressed. 4th day, I started to get a little bit wet, but the ice water bottles that were frozen still solid. 5 days, solid bottles of ice. The thing I learned, though, is my friend has been doing this for years, jerk face, and he didn't tell me. So when I showed him mine being all proud and stuff and telling him what I was doing and working on, he was just like, yeah, I've been doing that. Jerk face. So anyway, he gave me another tip, and evidently, when you take ice out, that void you start creating and gets bigger and bigger is actually a really bad thing for ice preservation. And so what he does is he takes beach towels. He rolls them up like a sleeping bag, and he makes them damp, and he fills the voids in the cooler with them. And then that way it lasts a lot longer. So I got to tell you, 10 out of 10, that's what I'm thinking. Could I go farther? Yes. Could I use thicker foam foil covered bubble wrap? No, because it uses up too much room. So what I'm going to do is I've got 3 coolers like these, and I am going to go through the process of doing them all because it worked out that well. This was the food container, and it did pretty well, but I'm definitely going to line it. One of the other things was I got some questions. You guys asked some questions. They're really good questions. So I thought I'd answer. First of all, how much does the bubble wrap with the foil sides cost? And I bought a pretty big roll. Now, I'm thinking this would do 6 or 7 coolers easily. So that was $24. So, I mean, this is enough for you and all your family to basically get together and have an insulating party, because I know that sounds really awesome. You could do that. Another question is, how about taping it in place or gluing the foam, the bubble wrap in place? And I'm thinking no, because as I found, especially with the food one, you really need to be able to take it out. You need to be able to lift the thing out. And I didn't even tape the edges on the inside. I just left the thing in pieces so I could take it out and wash it all, wash the cooler out, because I think that's kind of important for the next time. Another question is $24 for the roll. Okay. Frozen water bottles. I put in frozen water bottles that I pre-frozen. They were still solid after 4 days. It was almost disappointing because I wanted to drink water and I couldn't. That's how good it was. All right, another one. How big a block of dry ice? That's a great question. 10 pounds. If you go in and on top, grocery stores, it's usually locked because they don't want you touching it because it's 190 degrees below zero. It'll burn you. It'll give you a terrible burn. And they go, oh, we only have broken pieces. No, they don't. Go to the bottom. They are banded. You can pick them up. 10 pounds in the bottom of the cooler, and it worked incredibly well. All right, so there it is. It did work. I'm really happy with it. I hope it helped you. $35 cooler suddenly is worth twice as much, I think. So I hope you enjoyed the first video, and I'm kind of proud. And I got to thank my wife, Erin, for going to the desert and hanging out and putting up with it. Not the desert, me. And I'm off to another adventure. Have a good day.
The Todd and Erin Daily Stream is brought to you by PC Laptops, with desktops and laptops starting as low as $7.99 with a lifetime parts and service warranty. They fix phones too. Go to PCLaptops.com.
So what's going on at BYU?
This is incredibly brave, and I'm really admiring this kid. BYU valedictorian Matt Easton. He made a 4.0 GPA, of course. Fantastic student, incredibly good, and he was going to be one of the valedictorians. So he wrote out a speech.
Oh, that's really cool.
I went through what he wanted to say. Kind of went through it. Now, what happens is once you finish the speech, as you imagine, the college wants to go through it and approve it. So BYU read through a speech.
Is that true?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. I had to have it for my high school graduation. They had
Because
to look
you
at my
were...
speech. They just do that. They look at your speech.
Why did you make a speech?
Because I was a valedictorian.
Oh, one of those.
Anyway, going back to what was actually the important part here is, so BYU looked at it and they sent it back, and this is what Matt Easton had to say. During the speech, he said, I stand before my family, friends, and graduating class today to say that I am proud to be a gay son of God. He said, not many people are given a platform where they can speak in front of all their peers and their peers' families. He said, I was nervous. I'm still a little nervous about it. There's people telling me I went too far, people telling me I didn't go far enough. Ultimately, I had to do what I felt was right to me. He had come out of the closet to family and friends, but never publicly. Once again, it was reviewed and approved by BYU officials prior to the speech. He said, I have felt another triumph that of coming to terms, not with who I thought I should be, but with who the Lord has made me to be. And as such, I stand before the Lord, my family, and graduating class today to say that I am proud to be a gay son of God. He said, I felt more support from the large body than I've ever felt before, and I think everyone deserves to have that. Overall, day-to-day, my experience at BYU was quite wonderful. But for him to say that and to come out and be that courageous, I think was amazing. And I'm exceptionally proud that he received that kind of support.
Sort of cool.
Now that we're both done being for clump for a minute.
Welcome to Todd's Food Corner.
I thought it was going to be the gourmet corner.
Nah, it's just...
Too classy for us.
Yeah.
All right, tell me.
There's something new coming out. They've released it in St. Louis. They are releasing it in other cities as we speak. And comes from Burger King. And it is called the Impossible Whopper.
Why is it impossible?
Funny you should ask. Well, I asked you to ask me that. But
Why is it called impossible, honey?
Because it doesn't have any meat in it.
Oh, this is a veggie burger?
Nope.
What? Oh, so there's no, even semi-faux meat patty. This is...
Did you say foamy?
Faux meat.
Oh, yes,
patty.
there is.
Faux isn't fake.
But the Impossible deal comes from the company who actually makes it, and they've made a patty made out of vegetable material.
I used to love veggie burgers when I was a vegetarian.
And they make really.
Some of them are good. Some of them you're like, why did you do this to me?
Why did you take a vegetable and make it look like meat?
It's just so you can be part of the experience, but a lot of them are very tasty.
Meat eaters that are told to eat more vegetables don't have steaks that look like broccoli. See what I mean? It's just...
Even though that came from you, there is such a compelling wisdom to that I'm speechless.
So the point is, the point is that they're doing the Impossible Burger, and some people sit down and said, you know what, they can't tell the difference between that and a regular one. And then it brings me to think, first of all, what's going on with the meat? Or is the veggie thing so good?
They might have added enough elements to some of the other condiments and stuff that makes it taste that way.
15% less fat.
Oh, I can imagine.
90% less cholesterol.
Big deal. Sadly, being a vegetarian does not relieve you of the fat issue. There's much less cholesterol.
Right.
But there's still tons of fat, sadly.
White Castle is doing the Impossible Burgers as well.
Wow.
Also, Carl's Jr. sells a veggie burger made by Beyond Meat, which is a competitor of Impossible Foods.
You know, we need to go get a couple of those and just taste.
We probably
test them on
should.
the show.
Blindfolded.
We could do that.
We could do that.
We could do that.
I love Whoppers. When I was growing up, the Whopper was bigger, though. Or was I smaller? It was bigger.
Well, you have to remember, I was raised here, and I come from a family of 6 children. So our big thing was going to Dee's family restaurants.
Yeah.
They had the scary clown that went like this.
Okay.
You weren't here, never mind. But they were just your small, tiny hamburgers. But they used to sell them for $10 for $1.
Like sliders.
That was a long time ago.
Wow, 10
And my dad.
That's when gasoline was free.
And there was like 6 of us. My dad would go order like 40 of them, and the kid would be behind the counter go, "What?" He went, "Yeah, 40."
In the car or sitting down?
I don't think we ever made it to the car. It was probably just the parking lot.
At the counter. Okay.
You're remembering how my family eats, right?
I remember the Whoppers being this big.
See, you were from one of those wealthy New England families where you had those.
My dad was a teacher. Screw
desirable
you.
specialties.
Really? Because that hamburger didn't taste like steak. Huh. That's much. All that lobster.
All right,
Oh,
now that
I'm complaining
now that we've proved we were both poor, would you like to
Right.
continue?
Yeah, you want a pizza?
Yeah, of course.
We're kind of spoiled now. We have a pizza place about 10 blocks from here, and they can be here in like a really short amount of time.
And if Zoe's in a mood, she's standing right at the door like this, like.
Okay, here is a pizza. Sargento Foods is putting this out.
Nice.
And they want to give you a pizza, and you only have to wait 18 months.
I beg your pardon?
18 months to get your pizza. See, they
How?
believe,
I'm unclear on this. Why?
because they have gone into the shredded cheese business now. And
Sure.
they have been known for their aged cheese,
Yeah.
but not cheese that has been shredded. So now they're supplying...
This is shredded aged
Yeah,
cheese.
so now they're supplying this pizza chain that you've never heard of in Chicago with this pizza, and they have started the cheap promotion. The first 100 people that sign up will get one of these pizzas in 18 months because it will be covered with Parmesan.
I'm comfortable with that.
Aged Gouda, 14 months aged Parmesan, and aged cheddar as well. 18 months. That will be much later than now and sometime in 2020.
That's glorious.
I think next summer, wouldn't it be?
I would totally be there
That's
for
crazy. So if you want that kind of pizza, that's like a gourmet pizza.
Look, I could do that. I could just know in my heart that in a year and a half I'm getting this epic pizza. I could live with that.
You would forget it like the next day. We'd be on vacation and someone would be knocking on our door.
I have this fresh hot pizza. It's been 18 months in the
Our
making.
dog's going, just put it through the mail slot.
Right there's good, thanks.
All right. Tell me something good.
This is incredible. Okay, One Direction. Not one of my favorites, but they're an adorable boy band.
I
They're
make
from
fun of them all the
England.
time.
They're super cute.
I make fun of them all the
And
time.
Louis Tomlinson's one of the most popular, and he's adorable. Well, here's the deal. He lost his mother to cancer this year, and then he lost his sister to a heart attack. And
Oh my
so it's
gosh.
been really bad. He stopped touring with the band. He stopped everything for a few months, and he's been kind of floundering,
Right.
which we understand. I think it happens to anyone when you try to figure out what you're going to do next. So, of all things, he was on an online grief board, and he started talking with a gentleman named Richard. He's a former taxi driver, and he had been mourning the death of his wife of 60 years. 60
How
years.
old is he?
Richard, he's 87. And so he had been talking to, he and Louis, for some reason, had struck up a conversation. They'd been talking, and they got close to each other. Louis is 27. This guy's 87. And Louis said, well, what's been the worst part? And he said, because my wife had made me promise I would do all the things that I had dreamt of doing during my life that maybe we didn't have money for, other things. She said,
bucket list.
She said, I want you to go live your life and do these things. Have your bucket list. And Louis
Bucket
went,
list, yeah.
I can help you with that. So far, this is incredible. They've been on a roller coaster. Look at this picture. It makes me want to weep. See how he's got his hand over the gentleman's hand? And they're both so excited, like totally dorky. Flew in a helicopter, got tattoos, drove race cars, and then Richard joined him to sing on stage with One Direction before a packed audience. And he's made a wonderful video. It's called Two of Us. He actually wrote it for his mother, but it goes through the experience he's had with Richard. And it's so cool.
This is like As Good as It Gets, the movie.
Yeah.
With Jack Nicholson.
Except for even more beautiful, because you have an
Friedman.
international pop star who's like, we can make that happen.
Just The age difference.
Isn't that gorgeous?
It's crazy.
But they were bound together in a way that so few people can understand.
It's very cool.
So anyway, once again, the video is called The Two of Us. If you want to go watch it, it's gorgeous.
You know, my dream in this world is to come across a large amount of money in
I know
a
you
bag,
do.
on the road, sitting on a trail, just walk up and, oh my gosh, there's the money.
And then the drug running criminals who apparently
This is
have
how
dropped the case will immediately come up and shoot you in the back of the
This
head.
is how she ruins my dream.
I know, I'm sorry, but traditionally...
Here's an idiot who's trying to help me with my dream.
Okay, this is all kinds of weird to me, and let's figure this out. First of all, whenever you hear about a thing where like a truck door pops open and cash goes everywhere over the freeway, it's like
an armored car?
Yeah, you figure it's an armored car, like one of those Brinks
Yeah,
disasters where everyone stops in the middle of I-15 and they're grabbing cash and stuffing it down their shirt and like... And you know, and the federal officials can say, "Oh, they want. Would you please return the money that was scattered across I-15?" And everyone's like,
They're still running. It's like a month later and they're still running.
Here's where this is weird, and the police know about this. This was a private individual who had a cardboard box with $30,000 in cash in the back of his truck. Apparently, according to the Grand Haven Department of Public Safety, the cardboard box fell from the back of the man's truck on US 31 in Grand Haven, and then the money spilled out of the cardboard box and across the roadway.
Okay.
As you can imagine, everything screeched to a
Everything
stop and
stopped.
people doing the standard thing. Now, God bless them, police were able to recover $2,400 from the scene from people who picked up cash. And then they put up this hopeful little tweet going, "For anyone who might have picked up cash from the roadway, this is a private individual's and we'd really like to have you return it, no questions asked." And since then, apparently, another woman's brought in $3,800 and two 17-year-olds, God bless them, brought in $630.
Oh, that's nice.
But I want to go with this again. If you had $30,000 cash, which is a chunk of cash I can't really even picture, and you would think to yourself, I'm going to put this in a cardboard box. And according to the police, the driver said that he inadvertently left the box on the bumper of his truck.
Oh, what the?
And then that's how it spilled. If you had 30 grand, would you put it in a cardboard box on the bumper of your truck?
I didn't know the bumper part.
Why doesn't this scream like drug money to me or something?
No,
but
first
if the
of
police
all-
are involved, it can't be
Yeah. What were the
how does that
amounts?
even happen?
What were the amounts you said that were returned?
2,400 from the scene. Another
Right.
lovely lady brought in 3,800, and then two 17-year-olds turned in
Okay, so the
$630.
point being, I will now play Sherlock Holmes. Okay.
Go for it.
Obviously, this man is a male stripper. Because the box containing how much again?
$30,000.
$30,000 will actually fit in like the size of half a loaf of bread.
Unless it's like in small bills, though.
Unless it's in make it rain dollar bills for the male stripper.
Yeah, I don't think you could pick up 3,800 ones, though, off a freeway. I think some of it have to be in bigger chunks.
All right, well, thank you, Watson.
But doesn't that seem weird? The whole thing seems slightly off. Like, who do you know who would do that?
Maybe they have that much money that they have $30,000 they can put on the bumper of a car. Truck? Why are they driving a truck if they have $30,000? Maybe he was on his way to buy a new car, being the male dancer that he is.
Maybe he was just moving lots of his cash in maybe an armoire, and there wasn't enough room, so he left one of the boxes. Doesn't it just seem weird? There's
like to
something
talk.
off about that story that I know we're missing something somewhere.
I'd like to talk, but I have to go get marshmallows ready for the camping trip.
Are we doing that one tomorrow? Oh, it's Camping Food Week where we get to try out
Yes.
all the new camping hacks.
All week long we're doing it. I have to go get ready. Now you guys have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow morning on the Todd and Erin Daily Stream.
Don't forget the Mother's Day giveaway from the Gateway. Shopthegateway.com. If you haven't been to the Gateway downtown recently, by the way, it's gorgeous. You can't believe what they've done there. Anyway, they've got a $1,000 package. It's like jewelry and a concert and dinner and this massive spa day and Victoria's Secret and all this good stuff for Mom. And all you have to do is just go. It's like your email address and just sign up. And then, of course, you've got till May 5th in order to enter to win. But it's an amazing prize.
This scares camping ghosts away for your kids, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
Really?
All right, we'll see you later.
Okay, if you say so, I'm going
bye.
to choose to believe you.
Going camping.
Uh-huh.